Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, am I visible?
Yes, ma'am. Visible and audible. Great.
Okay, shall we start?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I'm good from our end.
Yeah, thank you, Vamshi.
Thank you, ma'am.
A very good morning to the distinguished dignitaries, Principal Dr. Sharda, and my learned friends. Ethics and teachers and teaching play a vital role in molding the character and the perspective of the learner. The saying, teachers consciously teach what they know, but unconsciously teach what they are, is very true indeed. Students learn from what we teachers teach and more from the way we live. This is possible for us only by being role models that we can change the perspective of the learners. This FTP will focus on the significance of code of ethics in higher education institutions. Honorable dignitaries, Dr. H.S. Ganesha Bhatta, Director Academics, MES Group of Institutions, Dr. K.M. Raghavendran, HOD, Department of Physics, MES College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Principal Dr. Sharda, and learned friends. I feel privileged to welcome you all to the state level FTP on significance of code of ethics for the staff in HEI. It is occasions like this which gives us opportunity to get an exposure of what the learned resource persons think about a dynamic subject like the code of ethics. It is the tradition of MESIOM to start the program with the divine blessings. I now kindly request my colleague, Deputy Coordinator, IQSC, Srimati Anuradha, to render the invocation.
ಶರಣು ಭಾರತಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ವಾಯು ರಮಣಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ಭಾರತಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ವಾಯು ರಮಣಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ಶರಣರ ಪೊರೆವ ಕರುಣೆಗೆ ಶರಣು ಸುರವರ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ಭಾರತಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಸುರರು ಮೊದಲಾದವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಪರಮ ಮಂಗಳವಿವಳೆ ಸುರರು ಮೊದಲಾದವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಪರಮ ಮಂಗಳವಿವಳೆ ಶರಣ ಕಮಲಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊರೆಯ ಹೊಕ್ಕೆನು ಕರುಣಿಸೆ ಮಗೆ ಸುಮಂಗಳೇ ಶರಣ ಕಮಲಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊರೆಯ ಹೊಕ್ಕೆನು ಕರುಣಿಸೆ ಮಗೆ ಸುಮಂಗಳೇ ಶರಣು ಭಾರತಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ವಾಯು ರಮಣಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ಶರಣರ ಪೊರೆವ ಕರುಣೆಗೆ ಶರಣು ಸುರವರ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ಭಾರತಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಪಕ್ಷಿ ವಾಹನ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ರಮಣನ ಗುರು ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನೊಳ್ ಪಕ್ಷಿ ವಾಹನ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ರಮಣನ ಗುರು ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನೊಳ್ ಅಕ್ಷಯದಿಂದಲಿ ಭಜಿಸುವಳೆ ನೀ ರಕ್ಷಿಸೆಮ್ಮನು ಅನುದಿನ ಅಕ್ಷಯದಿಂದಲಿ ಭಜಿಸುವಳೆ ನೀ ರಕ್ಷಿಸೆಮ್ಮನು ಅನುದಿನ ಶರಣು ಭಾರತಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ವಾಯು ರಮಣಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ಶರಣರ ಪೊರೆವ ಕರುಣೆಗೆ ಶರಣು ಸುರವರ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಶರಣು ಭಾರತಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು
Thank you, Anuradha. May I now request Dr. Vajreshwari, Department of Kannada, to light the lamp. Thank you, Vajreshwari. It's my proud privilege to welcome and introduce the chief guest and resource person of today's occasion, Dr. H.S. Ganesh Bhatta. Dr. H.S. Ganesh Bhatta, currently Director Academics, MES Group of Institutions and former Principal, MES Teachers College, Bengaluru, is an educationist, social worker, and philanthropist. Sir has a doctoral degree, and Sir has authored and published more than 150 articles in various journals of national and international repute. He has occupied and is occupying many important positions and has been a member of the expert committee of Government of Karnataka. Sir has guided more than a dozen doctoral and MPhil students. Sir is a recipient of many awards. To name a few: Bharat Vidya Bhavan, Vidya Shiromani Award, Best Educationist Award, Lifetime Education Achievement Award, and many more. To sum up, Dr. Ganesh Bhatta is an exemplar for Swami Vivekananda's words: "The fire in his heart is to reach out to the people, especially to the poor and needy, disseminate values to the youth, and be a mentor for children till they reach their adulthood." I, on behalf of the management, principal, staff, and on my own behalf, welcome you, sir. It is indeed my privilege to welcome Professor K.M. Raghavendran, the president of today's occasion. Professor K.M. Raghavendran has 36 years of rich teaching experience in the field of physics. Right from the beginning of his career as a teacher in 1984, he has been passionate about empowering the youth with knowledge. Sir has occupied many important positions and is a member of the Board of Studies and Board of Examination of BU and BCU and Maharani Lakshmi Amani College, to name a few. Sir has authored and published many articles in journals of national and international repute. Sir has been a resource person in physics for orientation programs for high school and PU teachers at Talent Search Center, Indian Institute of Science. He has set question papers for Comet K, the engineering entrance exam, and national standard examinations. Sir has been a member of many professional bodies like lifetime member of Indian Physics Association, lifetime member of Indian Association of Physics, and many more. It's an honor to have you here, sir. I, on behalf of the management, principal, staff, and on my own behalf, welcome you, sir. I now invite our beloved principal, Dr. Sharda, to give the introductory speech on FDP. Dr. Sharda.
A very good morning to each and every one of you, respected dignitaries. Dr. H.S. Ganesha Bhatta, Director Academics, MES Institutions, Professor K.M. Raghavendran, HOD, Department of Physics, MES College of Arts, Commerce and Science, my dear colleagues and participants. MES IOM is conducting a webinar on ethics for Code of Ethics for Staff in Higher Educational Institutions. The main objectives of this webinar is to reiterate the importance of Code of Ethics in the teaching profession. As role models, teachers must follow a professional code of ethics. This ensures that students receive a fair, honest, and uncompromising education. Code of ethics is nothing but the guiding principles which help us in professional conduct, honesty with integrity. Therefore, honesty and integrity are absolutely essential for success. Hence, the teaching staff must demonstrate integrity, impartiality, and ethical behavior in their classroom and in their conduct with parents and colleagues. Teachers must have strong character traits like perseverance, honesty, respect, lawfulness, patience, fairness, responsibility, and unity. Above all, teachers must wholly commit themselves to the profession and must obey institutional policies. Teachers must design an educational plan that appeals to a wide range of learners. They also must build a strong relationship with students, parents, staff, and administrator. They must engage in educational research to continuously inspire their teaching strategies. Thus, teaching is a noble profession, and teachers must operate with set of professional standards. These set of standards are prescribed in the form of ethics. They are reflection of the values of the teachers and their profession. In this direction, I feel honored that we have with us Dr. H.S. Ganesha Bhatta, Director Academics, MES Institutions, who will address us on the Code of Ethics for the staff of higher education. So thank you so much. Now over to Dr. H.S. Ganesha Bhatta. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
I wish all the best to every participant who is there in this program. At the outset, I'm very happy to share the session with one of the highly reputed teacher of the MES Degree College, Dr. Sri K.M. Raghavendra, whom I know for over 20-25 years. I had several opportunities to interact with him, work with him. I like the way he carries on the work. And whatever the talk that I am going to deliver now, probably many of the components are reflected in his personality. I also thank Dr. Sharada of the Institute of Management, who gave a very brief note on the topic of the day and who has been doing a yeoman service to the group of institutions. And as a team leader, she has been able to carry out several activities in the Institute of Management. I thank the master of the ceremony today, Harini, who is taking care of the issues of the program of the day, and Anuradha, who sang a good song in the morning, and Vajreshwari, who has conducted several programs, and I saw here Dr. Veena Nagaraj, the IQAC coordinator, and also the NAC coordinator over there in the MES group of institutions, and all the staff of the esteemed MES Institute of Management and other reputed institutions. Now, to begin with, why the Code of Ethics and what is its significance, especially in the 21st century, is the topic of the day. If we happen to read the preamble of the Constitution of India and rest of the articles in the Constitution, every point focuses on important domains: the sovereign, democratic, republic were the three concepts that were used in 1950 when Constitution was declared open on the 26th of January. Later on, with the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution, which is called the mini Constitution, it added three more concepts, that is socialist, secular, and the unity and integrity of the country. Now the Constitution declares that we, the people of India, hereby declare and give to ourselves justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. To know the meaning of the word justice, it speaks of social, economic, and political justice, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, which deals with the concept of the brotherhood, assuring the dignity of India and the unity and integrity of the nation. If we want to respect our Constitution and abide by the rules of it, following the Code of Ethics is the only way out. Probably, if we happen to look into the present society, sometimes we do feel that are we going away or are we going towards it? The whole of the society, right from the day the human generation began on earth, the good is there with us, the evil equally is with us. We know the story of the Mahabharata, where we have the adharma and the dharma. Adharma leading to wrong, dharma leading to right. To understand the word meaning of the dharma, it says, and derived from the Sanskrit, that which is owned by us. Dharayate iti dharmaha. Therefore, every educational institution need to have a dharma of its own, which probably will become the vision statement as per the NAC document. The institutional accreditation manual for self-study report of the affiliated and constituent colleges speaks of the ethics in the criterion 7, institutional values and best practices. Before I proceed, I would like to say one or two words about institutional practice and the best practice. An innovative program could be had by a group of institutions in 1 year. If it fails to carry it on for further years, then that program will not become a best practice. I know all the participants who are here do have innovation with them and also the best practices with them in the teaching learning process, the communication, interaction with the students, interaction with the parents, dealing with the colleagues, conducting of the meetings. Several of the things are there. Every component, whatever I mention here, do come under the ethics. Now, the 7.1 says institutional values and social responsibilities. 7.1.1 says gender equity, which deals with measures initiated by the Institution for Promotion of the Gender Equity. Now, equality, equity are the two terms which need lot of discussion. Equity is something which is achievable, justifiable. Equality is something which is philosophical in nature. Probably it is a distant dream to attain absolute equality in any society. Now, the environmental consciousness ranks from 7.1.2 to 7.1.7. But the next component, 7.1.8, deals with inclusiveness, cultural, regional, linguistic, communal, socio-economic diversities. Each component, has a load of information in it. When I say inclusiveness, who is to be included? If this is the question that comes is who must be excluded? As per the concurrent list of the Constitution of India, education is for all. For who can be excluded? No one can be excluded. A blind to be included, a deaf to be included, a physically challenged individual to be included, a mentally superior individual is to be included, the average of the average must be included, a slow learner, a spaced learner, a mediocre, who is not there in the list. Everyone need to be included. This is the concept of the inclusiveness. Are we prepared for it? Is the question. If inclusiveness becomes a code of ethics in the institution has to reiterate it and redefine it and then say, this is what is the limit with which we define inclusiveness. We'll have to say it. Then 7.1.19 says cultural, constitutional obligations, values, rights, duties, and responsibilities of citizens should become a component in the higher education institution. For when I speak of the right, the duty, now today in this society, the rights have become masters, the duties have gone down. But the duties are the first, then the question of the rights. For Code of Ethics also says, do your duty, then fight for the right. But today, fighting for the right is on the top, but accepting the duties and discharging those as the responsibilities, we are not able to find it. Then 7.1.10 says, institutional code of conduct for students, teachers, and administrators. This is the point of focus for me. When you say that you have to have the code of ethics, the code of ethics can change from institution to institution, classroom to classroom, the department to department, discipline to discipline. Now, if you want to have such kind of a code of ethics, it is not one man's job. It is a job that is to be done by taking into consideration all aspects. Now, let me start sharing the screen with you people. Please allow me to share the screen.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Hello?
So we
Hello?
can't view the screen?
Can you view the screen?
No, sir, not yet.
You have not got it?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Now we can view the screen.
You are getting the screen?
Yes, sir. Sir, are you looking for any PPT, sir?
I am looking for the PPT. I had the PPT here.
Sir, is it by any chance the name ethics teacher?
Yes, yes.
So it's on the third row, second one. The third one, yeah.
This one.
The third row, it's in the desktop, third row, third one.
Not getting.
Sir, it's in the desktop, sir.
Ah,
From top, it is a third row and column 3.
I know I had done it.
Okay, okay.
Not getting it.
I see. Okay.
1 minute. I'll just do it.
Sure, sir, no problem.
Gita. विशेष करी हम चले हम इसलिए सब वे करी
Ganesh, sir, are you able to view your screen now?
I am able to view the screen.
Okay.
I had put it as the minimize.
Yes, sir. It was actually closed. If you look at the taskbar, I couldn't find the PPT being open. So maybe you may need to reopen it.
ಇಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ ವಿಶೇಷ್ ನಂಗೆ ಇದು ಮಿನಿಮೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ
ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾಪ್ಪ ನೀನು?
ಏನು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದು ನಾನು ತಗೊಳಕ್ ಹೋದೆ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂತು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಾಣಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಅಯ್ಯಪ್ಪ ಏನಂತ
Okay. I hope you can see the screen now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, fine. Now, sorry for the interruption. Technology does give a kind of a trouble to us in between. Now, ethics, significance of code of professional ethics for the staff in higher education institutions. Now, when I speak of this, we need to know what is the meaning of ethics to start with. We often, when we speak on a day-to-day basis, use the word ethically a job is to be done. What does it mean? Philosophically, it speaks of good or bad. It is the value of the human conduct and of rules and principles that ought to govern it and indicate how one should behave based on principles of right and wrong. The question is, what is right and what is wrong, and who is going to say this? For this, as far as the society is concerned, it is the constitution. If it is the home, it is the elders at home who will say what is right, what is wrong. But at the same time, there is youth who will also say this is right, this is wrong. For example, if the elderly people are there, questioning them is wrong. But the youth says questioning is a right and questioning is the right way of behavior. Even Lord Buddha, when he was addressing his disciples, he used to say that do not just follow me because I am so and so. You must be able to accept the thing only after due questioning. Therefore, what is right, what is wrong is a dilemma. What is right, what is wrong is always a debate. As a practical matter, ethics is about how we meet the challenge of doing the right thing. The bad, whether you want it or not, it is always there. It is going to be there. For we need to think of the right. Now, when we speak of the right and the wrong, there is a value that is attached with it. It is a desirability of a thing, often in respect of some properties such as usefulness or exchangeability. How does it deal with our higher education institutions? I'm a teacher. I need to deliver a lecture. I need to participate in an activity. I'm in charge of a particular activity or a kind of a job. Now, how are you going to discharge it? And because of the discharge that you do, how are you going to exchange it? Now, I'm going to use it in terms of exchangeability as outcomes of education. I go to the class, I teach. Next question is, what is that I have given to the students? Is it that it was 1 hour of lecture and the lecture got ended? And what is that the student is going to carry with him? If a student at the end of an hour will carry nothing with him, then the value is not there. I might have taught, but it may not be of any use. Next, when I think of a fair exchange and return of a thing, I do give an assignment. With the assignment that I have given, what is the return that I'm going to get? The student should be able to get in return a kind of an outcome in education. Outcome may be expressed in terms of the knowledge component, the information component, the comprehension component, the skill component, the attitude, the aptitude, the feeling. So many things are there. Therefore, we must be in a position to attach a value in what we do. Moral principles and beliefs are accepted standards. Now, this question is debatable. When I say it is accepted, who has accepted it? Is it the institution that has accepted? Is it the university that has accepted? Or is it written somewhere and then it needs to be accepted? If you happen to go to the past bygone days, many of the treatises, I do not want to mention the name of any religion here. Some of the treatises of the religion had spelled it out very clearly that the horses have no teeth. One young boy came and said in front of the religious leaders that horses have the teeth. But they rejected him and then said, no, you are not supposed to show this to us. Therefore, there are certain accepted standards. To that particular accepted standard, that day's belief is attached, and that happens to be right. There were times when girls were not allowed to ride the horses. It was accepted till that point of time. Later on, when it was accepted that the girls can also ride the horse, now it becomes an accepted standard. Therefore, does the value change is a question. The values can be materialistic, values can be human, values can be religious, values can be eternal. But there are certain values which are ingredient of all the society, that we call it as Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Now, when I think of the ethics in an educational institution, the ethics rise from point number 1 to point number 7. Now, point 1 is for the survival. Here, I have given positive focus and excessive focus. Positive focus is what is written in the small, and the excessive focus is what is written in the top. Now, what is the positive focus? Financial soundness of the institution, the employees' health. Now, in the COVID-19 situation, whether the management is taking care of the employees' health or not, whether a sanitizer is provided, social distance is maintained, the people are given some sort of a relaxation. These are the kind of the thing that is for survival. When the survival is there, both for the student and the teacher, it is a pursuit of educational outcomes. The next is establishing a strong relationship. In order to establish a relationship, we need to have a good communication between students, parents, and teachers. The way I approach a teacher, one teacher approaching the other teacher in terms of a colleague. May I request all the people who are viewing this program, do not say that you are a colleague. Why not I say, he or she is my friend. When we work in a friendly atmosphere, the whole situation is going to change, which is going to establish a beautiful relationship that supports the organization. Next comes the self-esteem. What is self-esteem? What is that I know, and what is that I can discharge? What is that I am capable of? What do you think about yourself? That is the self-esteem. I'm a good classroom teacher. I'm a good organizer. I'll be able to control. I'm going to establish certain basic principles in the institution. That is the self-esteem. For when it comes to self-esteem, productivity will be more, efficiency will be more, quality of the professional growth is going to be on a top level. This results in high performance systems and processes. The next point is, when once we go from survival relationship, the self-esteem, transformation automatically happens. What is the transformation? Transformation will be adaptability in the education institution, innovation, and teamwork. Now, please note, every component is important in the higher education. Whatever I am mentioning here, that is what the NAC is also going to test. How are you adaptable in your institution itself? How do you adapt? How do you adopt? How do you adapt? All the things are important. Then, what kind of innovation are you making? Innovation by using the PowerPoint, innovation with the augmented reality, innovation in terms of conducting the surveys, innovation in terms of conducting experiments, innovation in conducting the assembly. You go on making a long list of it. And then out of the list that you have selected, what is that you can do in the institution? You will have to tick it. Then the teamwork will give a continuous renewal and learning. It is not that I teach my portion. It is not that I have completed the syllabus. What is important is we need to unfold the syllabus, not close the syllabus. Unfolding the syllabus is with lot of questions, lot of queries, lot of assignments, lot of students' activities. If that is done, there is going to be a transformation. Transformation will lead to internal cohesion, commitment, enthusiasm, shared values. What value do I share with my principal? What value do I share with my colleague? What value do I share with my management? What is the value that I share with my students? When once the shared values are strong, it leads to enthusiasm. What is enthusiasm? I need to participate. ನನ್ನೊಳಗಡೆನೆ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಇದು. ನನ್ನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಗ್ತಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಬಾಹ್ಯವಾದದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಆಂತರಿಕವಾದದ್ದು. ಪುಸ್ತಕದಿ ದೊರೆತರಿವು ಮಸ್ತಕದಿ ತಡೆದ ಮಣಿ ವಸ್ತು ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಅಂತರೀಕ್ಷಣೆಯಿಂದ ತನ್ನೊಳಗಡೆ ತಾನು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಸರಿನಾ ತಪ್ಪ? ತಿದ್ದಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ನಿನ್ನ ನೀಮ್ ಜಗವ ತಿದ್ದುವುದಿರಲಿ. ನನ್ನನ್ನು ನಾನು ತಿದ್ದುಕೊಳ್ಳದಲ್ಲನೆ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ತಿದ್ದುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಎಂಥೂಸಿಯಾಸಮ್ ಬರುವುದನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಉತ್ಸಾಹ. ಇದು ಉತ್ಸಾಹ ಹೇಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, the moment the teacher enters the class, the students will understand whether this teacher is enthusiastic or not. The way I begin, the way I carry forward, the way I conclude the class, enthusiasm from me from minute 1 to minute 60. From entry to exit, enter to learn, exit to serve. That gives you enthusiasm. And this leads for lot of commitment. Commitment, ಒಂದು ಸಾರಿ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಿನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟಿನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬರಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಾಕೊಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ತೆಗೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. For that is internal cohesion. Then with all these things, we must be able to make a difference. Every institution should be able to make a difference. I know here the people who are listening to me are the people from institution A, institution B, institution C, institution D. NAC never says all institutions need to be the same. NAC accepts that the institutions are like 5 fingers in our hand. Each finger has got its own strength. Therefore, they make a difference. But all the institutions putting together, if it makes a fist, that makes a country's higher education. Therefore, in what way your institution can make a difference? Strategic alliances and partnership. Are you related with the non-governmental organizations? Are you a component for the social service? Are you there in the civic service? Are you going for volunteering police? What are the different kinds of activities that you can think of? That becomes community involvement. Now, with the community involvement, the most important one is the service to the society. When it comes to service to the society, it is service to the humanity. This will come with social responsibility, keeping the future generations in mind. Now, the teachers who are teaching for higher education are the teachers who are teaching at the pre-university. Please remember, you are making the individuals to serve the humanity when once they leave the institution. It cannot be done all of a sudden when they leave the institution. It has to be built in the institution. If you want to build in, it is very necessary to go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. Thus, we reach the highest level of organizational consciousness. Then, when it comes to the ethics, the words that are used in the ethics is innumerable. For giving respect to the individual, thinking of integrity, being very honest. This Madam Sharada, when she began the program, used it. Then responsibility. Now, what is responsibility? Responsibility is not simply accepting a job. Responsibility refers to discharging the job. Now, the ethics involves study of what is morally good. I have already told. Defining a standard of behavior in the educational institution, governing the conduct of the students in the educational institution, and we should be able to make the students to say how they should act or behave. You know, controlling the students in the higher education institution or pre-university. I am a teacher who has taught from the primary level and to the postgraduate, and also the students who have taken training under me with the doctoral degree. I do see that all students are not the same. And governing the conduct of these students is not easy cup of tea. It is very hard. Institution varies. Girls' college, the way of conduct of the behavior is different. Boys' institution, it is different. Co-education institution, it is different. There are institutions today who have allowed the third gender also to stay in the institution. Now, what is the way in which we behave? How do we accept it? These are all the questions that come to the ethics of the institution. Now, when it comes to the ethics, I'm not going to explain every component. It has the rules, regulation, it has values. Please understand it has research also. What is research and ethics? Research must be ethical in nature. Now, this is the right time under COVID-19. Lot of research can be conducted by the institution. The research from the economics department, research from the political science department, research from sociology, research from the component of science, research from the component of mathematics in terms of data collection, how many are there, what happened, how many released, many questions are there. And in terms of the microeconomics, the macroeconomics, employability, entrepreneurship, you can do hundreds of research. Are there any new kind of the jobs that have emerged from 2020 January up to 2020 July? Conduct a research. What has happened to the auto rickshaw drivers? What has happened to the teachers who have lost their job? What has happened to the nurses? What has happened to the doctors? All these things can be done, and this can add to the innovative practice or the best practice of the institution. Then there are certain moral principles. These come as we teach. Please note that moral education cannot be given separately. Moral education need to be given by the teacher as he unfolds his lessons in the class. When you're teaching sociology, when you think of stratification, when you think of the caste, come on, speak out. What is a caste? What is a religion? What is stratification? Whether it is going to happen in the society or not. If it is happening, do you agree with that kind of a system or not? If you do not agree, why do you not agree? If you agree, why do you agree? Come on, put these kinds of questions. Unless the classroom is linked to the outside society, the classroom can never be called a classroom. It becomes a watertight compartment. Therefore, moral principles need to be added along with the lessons. Let me give you one simple example. In chemistry, we have the covalent bond. We have got the ionic bond. Covalent bond refers to the sharing. Sharing to what extent? From 7 electrons to 1 electron, 6 electrons to 2 electrons, 3 electrons to 3 electrons. Donation of electrons, which is the ionic bond. Donate 1 electron, donate 2 electron. How much can you donate? To make another family to become stable, another society to become stable. Periodic table is the best discipline classification of the elements. The very first group, very active. As we come to the third, fourth, fifth, sixth group, we see the D group elements, which are the transitional elements, where all colors will come. This is the youth 20 to 40. As you go further, it becomes non-metal. And then finally, it says, I am noble. I do not want to participate in any of the activity, something like the Vanaprastha-shrama or the Sannyasa-shrama. Now, if we want to understand this, we need to go very deep into the subject matter. Now, ethics is related with all these words which I have put it in terms of a collage. It deals with evil, it deals with trust, it deals with life, it deals with dilemma, it deals with lot of questions, the morals, the choices. What questioning itself is a component of ethics. But what kind of question is to be asked by the student is very, very important. For this, a proper guiding must be given by the people who are strong in ethical dealings. Now, when you say you want to do something, there is no right way to do a wrong thing. Similarly, I reverse it. There is no wrong way to do a right thing. A right thing need to be done always in a right fashion. Assignment, the student has to do it. Let the student see any Google. Let the student see any Wikipedia. He shall not reproduce the same thing as it is. If he reproduces it as it is, he will become a poor communicator. As a teacher of English, have I made the student to speak one sentence in 10 different ways? It is an experiment to be done by every teacher. A definition in physics, if the student simply writes the definition as it is starting from A to Z, then I say he has not understood the definition. he must be able to redefine it. Therefore, if we want to achieve anything right, you should do it in the right way only. There is no wrong way of doing it. Now, for example, in the pandemic condition, we have the online classes. Some are video lessons, some are WhatsApp, some are written materials. If you want to gain the confidence of the student that sitting with this teacher for half an hour is a right choice for me, then the things will be right. Otherwise, it's going to be wrong. Next, what is professional ethics? It is a system of conduct to guide the principles of a specific discipline. When I use the word specific discipline here, the discipline can be in terms of the student, discipline can be in terms of the staff. When I say the staff, it is the teaching, it is the non-teaching, it can be the parent. What way the system conducts the institution to go for a better practice. Then, professional ethics is the applied ethics. What do I mean by it? Constitution, the chapters I read. Constitution says it is the justice. But the student, while reading, while answering in the examination, forgets the word justice. He copies. He'll malpractices. Then what's the use of reading justice over there? And I cannot say equality in terms of distributing all the materials for the student to answer in the examination. And then the teacher says, I have treated all students equally. It is a wrong thing you are doing in the examination. Therefore, applied ethics. Professional and societal expectations that those who are in education should behave and act in ethical manner. We are all teachers. Therefore, we need to have a standard behavior because generations of students do look at us. Then, the personal ethics of every teacher in the higher education is influenced by several factors. The faculty and the mentor will influence. The internship supervisor will influence. Professional code of ethics as given by the University Grants Commission from time to time. 1986, it had given one. Now the 2019 education policy certainly brings another professional code of ethics. We need to understand it well. Textbooks and professional material, colleagues, the family and friends, religious and moral influences, governmental policies, rules and regulations of the management, students and parents. All these factors influence the personal ethics. Now, to whom is the code of ethics? And is the code of ethics to be followed at a point of time? Is it something like a 2020 match or one-day match, or is it a 5-day match? Or is it a competition that is going to happen in a swimming pool? Ethics is something like an ocean. Ethics is something like air. Ethics is something like soil. Ethics is something like water. For what is it? It is for everyone, it is every day, and it is everywhere. Now, if we happen to follow this, then all the programs and training that we conduct in the institution will lead on to the policies of the institution. The policies will be able to help us to have certain conduct principles. These principles will lead on to the values, and the values finally will go for the development of the vision of an institution. Now, when I speak of the vision, the institution can have a vision, the department can have a vision. Every department, Kannada department can have its own vision. English department can have its own vision. But the big vision will be the vision of the institution. It is just like code of ethics followed by the government of Karnataka, code of ethics followed by the government of Maharashtra, code of ethics followed by education institution. All of them are governed by Constitution of India. The preamble is the vision of India. That is the way in which we need to deal with it. Now, code of ethics says it is a written list of values and standards of the group. It is a framework for decision making. Therefore, how does it become a framework for decision making? If I have the list of values and the standard of conduct, with reference to this, I can say whether the decision taken is right or wrong. Let us say you have to expel a student from the college. How do you expel it? What is the ground on which you are going to expel the student? Or you want to admit the student to a college. What is the ground on which you will admit the student to the college? A staff member is to be penalized for his wrong behavior. How do you do it? For everything, we need a list of values and standards of conduct accepted by the group. What is accepted by the group? The staff need to sit together, the management need to sit together, then they should define their code of conduct. It is normally general statements do not give specific answers to every possible dilemma that might arise. We do not have any treatise which will say, do like this when a situation of this kind arises. We learn from experience. But we need to have certain standard. Now the code of ethics is followed by certain principles. I'll be a little fast here. If you want, I can share this material with you people. You can take it. Now the principle 1 and 2, both of them deal with the protecting the student from harm. It says you should remove the things that are going to cause a harm to a student and do not inflict any harm to the student. Now, how it is to be done? Of course, it is judgmental. You need to take a decision. Provide autonomy for the student to think of a right of choice. What is the right of choice? A student may, I will participate in the debate, but I am not going to participate in elocution. I will dance, but I do not do drama. These are the choices. I would like to study sociology, but I do not want to study philosophy. Now, CBCS, we have got choice-based credit system. If the 2019 education policy comes, then still a bigger role is to be played by educational institutions. It says liberal arts and science. A student of physics and chemistry will study psychology. A student of chemistry and biology will study philosophy. Any kind of a choice need to be allowed. Now, in terms of the activity, will the institution allow the student to participate in the choice that he makes? Respect the decisions of legally appointed guardians, parents, if student is incapacitated. See, this is a very, very strong word which we need to understand. I repeat again, respect the decisions of the legally appointed guardians, parents, if the student is incapacitated. Now, if the student is put into some sort of inconvenience, then what kind of role the guardian or the parent need to play in the educational institution? You know, in the Institute of Management, several of such kind of incidents had happened, and we had sat together and then resolved the issues. This keeps on happening in one institution or the other. Then the principle of justice. Consider race, creed, orientation, gender, inclusiveness. But the Article 15 says no discrimination. But if you want to provide the justice, you need to look at the race of the individual, creed of the individual, what is the kind of the orientation student has got, what is the gender, what is the degree of inclusiveness. Depending upon that, no discrimination policy says it is a justifiable discrimination. It is the protective discrimination. For the students need to be discriminated with protection. What does it mean? One is capable of doing something, give the opportunity for that individual to do it. One is not able to do because of some condition, then help him. But this is what is providing justice. To simplify the thing, a student is not having, let us say, the prescribed fee to be paid for the examination. How do you provide the justice to him as an educational institution? Judge whether it is very genuine or not. After studying the genuinity, what decision will you be able to take and how do you fill the gap? But that is the question of justice to be provided. Then fidelity, veracity. Fidelity refers to meeting commitments made by the institution to the students. If you have said that we are going to have the placement services, are you able to give the placement service to the student? Or is it just for the sake of saying it, you have done it? Veracity deals with speaking of the truthfulness and honestness. For what is truthfulness and honestness? If you have promised a scholarship to a student, will you be able to provide it or not? Therefore, that is the code of ethics. Informed consent. Services should be based on mutual respect and shared decision making. Provide information about service, benefits, outcomes, expected activities, and limitations. That means as soon as the students enter our education institution, you must be able to inform them what is your institution. What is that you expect from the students in your institution. Therefore, provide information about professional training credentials, provide information so that students can decide to accept to participate in activities. Supposing he feels that these activities are not for us, then you have the student association. Ask them. One group of students may agree for the conduct of the college day. Another group may not agree for the conduct of the college day. How do you resolve the issue? Informed consent. Then confidentiality and privacy. It is for both teachers, students, parents. All information cannot be made transparent. There is certain confidentiality, and we should know what information is confidential. I have worked with several institutions. Many teachers do not know what is meant by confidentiality. I have seen in the institution, some of the institutions, the teachers declaring in the class, your internal assessment is already given and you need not worry about it. When do they make this pronouncement? Even before the conduct of the internals assignments given to the students. How can I accept the teacher? And there are also some other places where soon after the examination is conducted, the practicals is conducted, the student is given the information about what marks has he got. Are you expecting any favor from the student? It is not to be done. For that is the question of confidentiality and privacy. Competence, demonstrate current competence, maintain credential. Encourage the students to be more competent. Then compliance with laws and regulations to be done by all. What does the UGC say for teachers? What does the UGC say? What is the department? What does the management say? All these things govern the code of ethics of educational institution. Now, if you want to have an ethical practice in the institution, what are the steps to be taken? Start here. When you want to start, your agenda must be very, very clear. What is the agenda? How do we go about ethical practice in our educational institution as far as the classroom instruction is concerned? Very simple. Or, what is that we are going to do for the ethical practice as far as the assembly is concerned, attendance is concerned, regularity is concerned, discipline is concerned? Recognize that there is an ethical question. Large number of students are not attending the classes. There is a question. Understand the facts of the situation. Why is that they are not attending? All of us are going to fall into this kind of a groove a short while from now. Students have more or less accepted the online education. Now, when they come back and sit in our regular classes, don't you think that they will have some sort of a trouble in sitting continuously for hours together in the college? What do they do then? How to overcome that problem? For that, understand the options available. How do we deal with this? We will have to talk to the students and then say, some will be online, some will be offline. What is offline? What is online? In addition to it, we must be in a position to make our regular classroom offline instruction more and more interesting now. Otherwise, the students do not accept it. Therefore, if I have different alternatives, understand the consequence of each of the option that you have got. Test the opinion option you plan to take. Whatever the plan that you decide, whatever the action you want to decide, test it first before you implement. Explain the option you have decided on. If it is related to the staff, in the staff meeting, the principal must be able to convey it very clear. If it is for the class, the classroom representatives must be called and the teacher in charge must be able to say. Then act on the chosen option, reflect on the outcome. If the outcome is good, then whatever the ethical question that you have taken, it is addressed well. If the outcome is poor, then the whole cycle is to be repeated once again. But that is the way ethical practices can be had in the institution. Ethics and confidentiality, I have already told about it. I need not repeat this. What should we do? Include the code of ethics in each staff's volunteer orientation in service training. Document code of ethics in written plan of operation. Discuss ethical questions in staff meeting. Attend conferences, sessions on ethics, so that we will become more strong. Now, what are the 5 principles? Serve others, not ourselves. Use resources with efficiency and economy. It may be library, it may be laboratory. I have seen in the chemistry laboratory the way the students use the acid and the bases in the experiment on neutralization. They will be simply talking with another individual. They roll down the base into the acid and the color would have come, not the pale pink color, it will be the pinkest color. Therefore, if you don't use the resources efficiently, you are non-ethical. Treat all people fairly, whether black or white, tall or short, stout or slim. Everyone should be treated well. ಹಿಂದಿನ ಸಾಲಿನ ಹುಡುಗರು ನಾವು ನಮಗೇನೇನು ಭಯವಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮಿಂದಾಗದು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆಂದೆಂದು ಜಯವಿಲ್ಲ ತರಗತಿಗೇನೋ ನಾವೇ ಹಿಂದುಳಿದವರೇ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಆಟದ ಬಯಲಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲಿ ಬಂದು ಅಂಜನೇಯರೇ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ. If we do not encourage the students who are good in sports, then we are not ethical. If we are not supporting the students who are going to be film actors, then we are not ethical. If we do not support an individual who is going to dance in a public place, let us say Bidi Nataka, we need to encourage him. Use the power of our position to the well-being of our constituents, who are the constituents in the educational institution. The class 4 employees, the office staff, the teaching, the students, the parents, the community members. We must use the right use of the power. Create an environment of honesty, openness, and integrity in the educational institution. All these things are said, but doing it is difficult. But if we practice, we tell you, we will be able to shine ourselves as one of the best institutions. Then, as a member of the staff, we should know how to treat with oneself. I am not going to take everything. I will take only 1 or 2 points. Let me take one: be calm, patient, and have a moderate behavior. Adhere to responsible pattern of the conduct in the institution. I have seen in many of the institutions when I have gone for the visit, either at the time of the NAC or on a cursory glance, I have seen members of the staff quarreling in the corridor. I have seen members of the staff talking about the principal or talking about other people in the open with students. Now, it is not a responsible pattern of behavior. We need to curtail it. Then, private affairs must be consistent with the dignity of the profession, work towards contribution of the knowledge, participate in extension, co-curricular, extracurricular activities. Independence Day, presence of the higher education institution staff is compulsory. I don't think it has to be told. Everybody needs to attend it. I know when I was the student, when I was the teacher, when I was the principal in the college, I have never missed participating in either in Independence Day or in the Republic Day or on any national festival. We used to feel very happy participating with the students. And this should not have happened with a memo issued to the staff. but it should become a code of ethics. That is the way in which we need to work. Then teachers and students respect the right and dignity of every student, encourage the students to improve their attainments, develop their potentials, and help them to contribute to community welfare. ಯಾವ ಚಿಪ್ನಾಗೆ ಯಾವ ಮುತ್ತೈತೋ ಒಡೆದು ನೋಡಬೇಕು ಒಳಗೆ ಕೊಚ್ಚೆ ನೀರನ್ನು ಶೋಧಿಸ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕೋಕಿಲ್ವಾ ಗಂಗೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಅವನ ಕಲರ್ ಇಂದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಅವನ ಹೈಟ್ ಇಂದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಅವನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದಾಗ್ಲಿ, we will never be able to measure the ability of a student. Just recently, while conducting interview for teachers, a candidate had appeared for the post of the lecturer in statistics. I asked a simple question. In which field shall I ask you question? She said, you ask me questions in correlation. I asked a very simple question. Being very smart and being intelligent, do you think they are highly correlated? The candidate did really take some time, but at the same time, the candidate said it has a very high correlation. Therefore, please think, for we cannot judge anybody with an external feature. Then develop a scientific outlook, deliver the things on time. Teachers and colleagues, I take only one point. This is with reference to ethics. Do not involve in groupism. Do not go for gossiping. These are the two important enemies in educational institution. This will weaken the whole institution. Then treat non-teaching staff as friends. Colleagues function in a cohesive manner. Teachers and authorities discharge professional responsibilities, get involved in every work, cooperate in the formulation of the policies. Do not say that this is not concerned to me. I have seen many people doing this kind of a job. I am not interested in doing this kind of an activity. You become a very mean lecturer, a mean professor. If you get involved, your responsibility becomes more. When the responsibilities become more, you are answerable, you are accountable. Please understand, at the end of the journey of the college, when you go for a superannuation, society will be waiting to accept you because you would have followed certain ethical principles in your life and you are goal oriented. Supposing you shorten your vision and then become only a teacher for a particular commodity, it is just like idli hotel, dosa hotel. You have to become a multi-cuisine restaurant. Then we will be able to achieve a lot. Refrain from availing leave except on unavoidable grounds. I am proud to say I had left my 208 days of casual leave when I got retired. Anybody can do it. It is not that we have to avail the leave because it is there for us. It is no doubt a right. But when you use it, please think. I have also seen many of the faculty members who were in charge of a particular activity, and that day only they had applied leave. How can you be ethical in nature if you happen to do like that? Then teachers, parents, and guardians, invite them for interaction and for their support. Very important, and NAC also expects it. Teachers and society, there are many points. I don't think I need to read everything. I gave a small pause here so that you can read it. I take only one point: respect the multicultural nation of Indian society. This is the responsibility of the teacher and society. Now, all these things, ethical practices, finally go for the quality. The quality is not expensive, it is priceless. Quality means doing it right when no one is looking for. For I take the class because principal is looking for. I go to the class because management is coming. I go to the class because somebody is seeing me. Go to the class because you will have to be in the class. This is the condition under which we need to work. I thank you for your hearing. This is a media wherein which it cannot be two-way interaction all the time. We need to present and you need to interact. I will be very happy if you can pose one or two questions to me, and I feel proud to give a kind of a response to it. I never say I will answer to your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It is said, great thinkers deliver eternal truths in the simplest of words. Thank you once again for such an insightful talk and make us realize that we are the torch bearers for introducing the desired changes in the society. Now we open the session for the question answers. People who have logged in through Zoom may ask the question by raising the hands, and on the YouTube by typing the question on the chat box.
Hello, I'm waiting for questions.
Madam Rajita, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಟೀಚರ್ಸು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆದ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ನೀವು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನೋ ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಹೈಲಿ ಡಿಬೇಟಬಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ. If you are following any ethical practice, you can certainly share it with us. This is what we do. This is the code of ethics we have got in our institution. You can share it also.
So we have a question in the chat box.
Yes, you can ask.
Sure, sir. So actually, Sir Anil is asking.
Although we are interested in doing what you have shared with us, the student community is not interested, is one of the questions that has come in the chat box. No doubt it happens. You see, whatever the external society in which we live, that is reflected in the educational institution. But the institutions, if they are very hard on what they follow, they will be able to make the students to follow what is expected of. I do not name any institution, please. There are institutions in several universities in India where the college itself says, you, my dear student, you need not come to the class. You need not attend the internals. I will see that you will go with the degree. Now the students really want it and the students do go over there. But there are also institutions where they are very strict. They say, If you do not submit even one single assignment, your degree cannot be awarded. And the students do practice it. Therefore, in every society, we have a dichotomy. Some working for the cause, some not working for the cause. What is the path we take is our responsibility. And at the same time, how should we work it out? I have already told you, you can make a student association or a student assembly, classroom representatives meeting, where they can take a decision as to how they need to be in the educational institution. The accountability must be given to the students. They should say, this is how we are going to be, sir. These are all the activities in which we would like to participate. This is the field which enthuses us a lot. Supposing you are living in the Malleshwaram area, you can establish a contact with the Tata Institute or C.V. Raman Institute and then say, you will have a good memorandum of understanding with those institutions, and the students should be able to go participate in the activities of the organization. That can be. Supposing you are in Basavanagudi, you can think of an organization or a kind of an attachment with the Ramakrishna Ashrama, or maybe with a church, or with a masjid, or with a gurudwar, where the student can have an interaction and come and share what really happens over there.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
So what is your view on setting up of grievance cells in higher education institutions? Grievance cells of students and grievance cells of staff members, would that in any way impact, say, personal, interpersonal, intrapersonal relationships?
It will not. The thing is, you see, grievance cell is there. It is a grievance redressal cell because we have to redress the grievances. Now, for that, we can say that your identity will not be given, and all the teachers need to put it in a particular pen or a computered sheet where, you know, if it is written by the hand, the teacher may feel that I am going to be identified with my handwriting. For what could be done? You can ask them to type it in a computer sheet. Their name is not important, but they are the faculty of your institution. Read very thoroughly what is that they have given. Supposing you get about 15 to 16 grievances and you are about 16 in number, then all 16 have put their grievances without knowing who is A, who is Z, who is Z. But these grievances must be studied by the principal with a grievance redressal cell, where one of the member of the staff will become the part of the cell. You see, NAC also says this. Principal need not be the rector all the time. But if you want to be the rector, you be the rector, but let other two teachers be involved in it. If it is the teacher's grievance cell, the teacher's representation must be there. If it is the student's grievance cell, student's representation must be there, and teacher should become a leader over there. And it should be open once in 15 days or once in 10 days, whatever the frequency that you are going to think of. It may be based on semester, but the grievances must be redressed. It can be done. We have done it very successfully.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, this session came out very well, sir. This code of ethics, what you have said about, it's really, we have to practice it. Definitely we will success in our career and professional. But my question is, now the recent trend is students who are good in studies and other activities, the other average students, those who are not good, they pull their legs. So how to handle this kind of the issues, sir?
That is why I had made it very clear in the beginning itself, whatever is to be formulated, whatever is the outcome of the educational institution that we expect, that is to be shared. I had shown in one of the slides that information need to be shared. When will you share it is very, very important. You cannot share this when the issue rises. you will have to address it in the beginning itself. Now, for example, this is the time at which the new admissions are going to happen in educational institutions. We do not know when the pandemic will end or when will the college really starts. Now, even before the college starts, you can sit together and then say how to avoid certain of the issues that had ethically come in our previous year. Certainly one teacher or the other will have one question to you. And similarly, the students may also have some questions related to such kind of practices. Collect them, analyze them, synthesize them, and then say, let this be the code of conduct for us. An average student pulls the high achiever. Now you will have to express it very clearly when the students come to your college. There are some students who will pull your leg. They do not want you to grow. But you as a person who has accepted it as a challenge shall always go in the path that you have decided. Now, this kind of a promise to be made by the authorities in the educational institution, you need to convince them. I know it is not easy, but you can certainly take a step ahead towards it. You have done it. I have seen you doing such kind of things. Yes, if there are any other, I thank all people who had put the queries. I may not given the answer. I have given the response because it is not a question like 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before the presidential remarks, it's my privilege to take the learned participants and the dignitaries on the virtual tour of our college.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, 1 second, ma'am. Let me check. Yeah.
which is managed by Mysore Education Society, popularly known as MESIOM, imparting quality-based education in the field of commerce and management. Education at MESIOM is not merely an intellectual cramming of information, but application of it into one's life. This will lead to reach greater pinnacle of success. This is achieved by able guidance from management, excellent academic environment, state-of-art infrastructure, dedicated and qualified faculty with decades of experience. We at MESIOM believe in learning is a continuous process, and hence the institute provides congenial environment to excel for the faculty in their chosen field. MES Institute of Management grooms and guides students in virtues of hard work, discipline, and ethical practices of profession. In the 14 years of experience, students have been consistently graduating by getting university ranks, have been placed in premier companies, and have bagged many prizes in state, national and international level, culture, sports and academics and literature. We are passionate towards empowering students by making them to industry ready and make them to be a good citizen of the nation.
MESIOM, situated in the heart of the city with easy transport accessibility, is in the 14th year of existence with reassurances to keep pace with the global changes and preserving Indian tradition and culture. MESIOM is providing its students a holistic learning and multi-dimensional development. As Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore has opined, the highest education is that which does not merely give us information but makes our life in harmony with all existence. The journey of a student at MESIOM entails curricular aspects, value-added courses, extra, co-curricular, extension, sports, scholarships, and culminates in placements in prestigious companies. Students of MESIOM have been placed in companies like Northern Trust, Infosys, Capgemini, TCS, and many more.
MES Institute of Management has got an active placement cell. Our placement cell is been working in an organized manner. We got split up between placement and training. We provide training for the students from the grassroots level. For the first years, we provide communicative skills. For the second years, we provide technical skills. And for the final year, we provide placement and training skills. So likewise, our students will get equipped and they are going to the placements.
We are very proud to say every year more than 60% of students are receiving offer letters before completion of their exams.
Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself. MESIOM strongly believes that the quality of the curriculum and the human infrastructure would make a quantum difference in the quality of graduates, which is the outcome of such inputs. In this regard, MESIOM conducts various value-added programs: Tally ERP9, Advanced Excel Certification Program, Industry Readiness Program, PDP, Soft Skills Training, Stock and Capital Market Certification Program to give an added edge to the students. It conducts 2 internal tests every semester and a parents-teachers meeting to inform the parents about their ward's progress.
Hi, I'm Hemant Kumar. I'm a proud alumni of MES Institute of Management.
Hi, myself Vamshi Krishna. I am an alumni of this college.
Hi, I'm Mithali Vadia, a proud product of MESIOM.
I've been here part of this college from 2009 to 12. I'm presently working for Ministry of Communications and IT, Department of Post.
MESIOM is not just an educational institution. The college has nurtured with care like the Almighty does.
This is a right place to groom your character, build your career, as well as uproot your talents.
College has a very resourceful people around it. They are there to guide you through, and college gives you a desire to dream.
With all these experiences, I would strongly recommend MESIOM being a best college for your choice.
I strongly recommend you to come here and experience the expertise this place has for you. It has everything which is required for a budding mind to dream of and achieve whatever they want in life.
I highly recommend to join us not only for good quality education but also to be a better citizen of the nation.
The campus life is vibrant through various cultural events like Orientation Day to welcome and acquaint the fresh entrants about the events of the college. Pratibha Karanji is an intra-college literary and cultural event which gives students a platform to showcase their creative talents. Surabharati Vaibhavam gives students an opportunity to celebrate the uniqueness of the Sanskrit language. Graduation Day is conducted and degree certificates are given away to the graduating students. Kalavedi is the annual intra-institutional cultural competitions conducted by the MES group of institutions. Kannada Nudi Habba is a Kannada cultural extravaganza and taught students to understand and keep the Kannada culture alive. MESIOM stands with Swami Vivekananda's idea. We want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, that intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet.
Thank you all for joining us on the virtual tour. May I now request Professor K.M. Raghavendran, the President of today's FDP, to deliver the presidential address.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah. First of all, may I request the organizers to permit me to observe a minute's silence in the memory of one of the finest teachers of MES College, a mentor for generations of students, including me, Professor H.S. Shardamma, Professor of Mathematics, former principal of MES College, who attained the lotus feet of the Lord heavenly abode yesterday. She was the embodiment of an ideal teacher, and I feel blessed that I am today part of a webinar on a topic which was very close to her heart. If the organizers please permit me, I would like to observe a minute's silence.
We'll observe a minute's silence.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. At the outset, I should thank Harini ma'am and Professor Ganesh Bhatta sir for those kind words of introduction. I must confess that I'm not a doctorate, and they kept repeating Dr. Raghavendran. Of course, I would like to, first of all, congratulate Principal Dr. Sharda ma'am and her whole team for inviting me to preside over this webinar. To be honest, I really don't know if I am the right person for this. I will begin with congratulating the institution for two things. One, for selecting a theme or a topic which I believe is ever relevant to this noble profession of ours, particularly in the times that we live in. Secondly, for asking Dr. Ganesh Bhatta sir to deliver the talk. For Dr. Ganesh Bhatta sir is not only an erudite scholar and a teacher educator par excellence, as we all know him, but a role model for all teachers such as us and all would-be teachers as well. I believe you could not have found a better resource person, and I am honored to share this platform with you, sir. My task is in a sense made very easy, as sir has touched upon every aspect or facet of the qualities of a good teacher and the code of ethics for teachers in higher education. So what can I really add? He has actually said it all, starting from the principles of autonomy, justice, fidelity, veracity, informed consent, compliance with law, regulation, and of course, including the 5 principles of ethical behavior. So what I will do is I will briefly share my thoughts, even though I may sound repetitive, on the perspectives on the professional code of ethics that we teachers should have. And most of my content is drawn from the quality manual that our college has drawn up and put on our college website. It is in the public domain, and we have a one-page note on professional ethics, code of conduct for teachers as well on it. I urge all of you to go to our website and you may download the quality manual. Of course, the manual is not static, it is dynamic and will keep changing in the years to come. So what I would like to say is the following. See, we are blessed to be born in a land that has given the world some of the finest teachers, from Lord Krishna, Sri Shankaracharya, Sri Tirunal, Sri Basavanna, Mahatma Gandhiji, Swami Vivekananda, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, down to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, just to mention a few. In fact, a study of their lives and teaching of these and other great teachers itself will be more than enough to understand the virtues and qualities of an ideal teacher and to inculcate the professional ethics that a teacher should have. I would like to quote some of them so that we get a perspective of what a teacher should be from these great minds. Quote, I have always felt that the true textbook for a student is a teacher. Unquote, Mahatma Gandhi. Quote again, a teacher should be a serious scholar first, and then he should perform with a complete sense of belonging to the profession, and the pupil imbibed and enthused with a certain amount of austerity and renunciation, deep piety and tolerance. Unquote, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Quote again, teaching is a very noble profession that shapes the character, caliber, and future of an individual. If people remember me as a good teacher, that will be the biggest honor for me. Unquote, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So why should there be a professional ethics code? I think these quotes from these great men has kind of summed it all. So why should at all there be a professional ethics code? I believe a professional code of ethics for teachers is purposely designed to protect the rights of students. In fact, all the students whom we teach and knowingly or unknowingly influence. Teachers help students not only learn the academic basics, but are also expected to teach them valuable life lessons by setting a positive example and, very importantly, practicing what they preach. This ensures that students receive a fair, honest, and uncompromising education. A professional code of ethics outlines our teachers' main responsibilities to their students and, I think, defines their role in students' life. Further, as Sir mentioned, in this world of globalization and competition, we are witnessing diverse changes in our educational system. Since change is inevitable, the aims and objectives of education is also changing according to the needs, interests, and requirements of the learners, of the society, and of the nation very rapidly, I must add. Now, the concept of a teacher and teaching is also changing day by day. A teacher in this contemporary era has many duties and responsibilities to play. He has to don several hats at the same time. Apart from having good academic and professional qualifications, a teacher should possess the knowledge of professional ethics, because professional ethics is like a guide, a beacon, a light, which facilitates the teacher to provide quality education and inculcate good values among the students who are, I think, our primary stakeholders. The professional ethics that we learn will go a long way in bringing desirable changes in the behavior of our students. And of course, it will help us teachers to understand our profession much better. I believe that professional ethics is the need of the hour. Many institutions are facing lack of professional ethics within their teachers, despite teachers having ample number of degrees, achievements, medals, extra qualification, and content knowledge. Why is this? I think we need to really introspect on this. There are several factors we could list and debate upon, but essentially, I think as a community, teachers are viewing their profession as just another job in which we need to climb a ladder at any cost. Nothing can be further from the truth. Teaching is regarded as a noble and righteous profession, as Sir said, and as Harini ma'am also said, since it contributes to nation building by creating good quality human resources, responsible citizens, socialized individuals, and creative personalities. Is it not? So teaching is a profession that requires, among other things, a passion for your subject, for your domain, and the urge to excel in it. Maybe much more than that, the love and empathy towards the learner, lots of humility about what we don't know, the attitude to collaborate and give credit where it is due, and above all, a willingness to be a lifelong learner. This is the essence of being a professional, since teaching is not just about imparting the content of the syllabus and subject matter to your students. It is much beyond that, as the previous speaker also has said. Teacher has a wider role in the educational outcome of a student. I'm using the word education in the broadest possible sense. Hence, this profession requires a lot of commitment, dedication, and sincerity towards our institution and our learners. How is this possible? Probably only if we adopt and internalize a professional code of ethics. Otherwise, we are likely to become a barrier in the development of the institution, in the development of the learner, society, and the nation as a whole. It will undeniably affect the overall performance of our students. This is my firm belief. Having broadly seen the need for this professional code of conduct or ethics, what exactly is a professional code of ethics? Of course, Sir has deliberated upon it very extensively. I would just like to throw some more light on it, even though I may be repeating a few things. A professional code of ethics basically is a guiding principle which is aimed to assist professionals, and if we consider ourselves to be professionals, to conduct our work with commitment, dedication, sincerity, honesty, and above all, with integrity. So it follows that as professionals, we should follow the specific principles of our profession and do our duties as per the requirements of the profession. The professional ethics that we are talking about deals with such principles and values that as teachers, we should implement to create a very conducive atmosphere in our workplace, which is our colleges and schools. So professional knowledge and skills are the key elements that each one of us should acquire during our service. And we should do this with determination and commitment. If it is valid for all other professionals, it is also valid for us. Every profession has its aim and objectives, and so does our profession. In fact, by now you would have realized that professional ethics is actually two words. Professional meaning being an expert, being a qualified, skilled, certified, etc. It's a term that denotes our level of knowledge and skill that is possessed by us to perform our assignment, which is essentially teaching. And it is attained through extensive education and training. What about ethics? Ethics basically means principles, beliefs, moral values, and a moral code. It is the science of character, habits, and behavior of human beings. So as teachers, it is very important that we inculcate both this professionalism with ethical practices. Now, when we talk of professional ethics as teachers, there are various relationships involved. Professor Bhatta sir has already elaborated on this. The professional ethics of a teacher with respect to students, with respect to our profession, with respect to our co-workers or colleagues or friends, as sir called them, with respect to parents and guardians, with respect to management, and of course, with respect to society and nation. I will very briefly touch on some of these significant professional code of ethics for teachers. Sir has already said many of the things I wanted to say. In fact, there is no harm in repeating this because it is only going to assist us teachers to educate our students efficiently and effectively, I must add. As teachers, we should always be aware of our roles and, more importantly, our responsibilities. We should actively provide this service to our institution and students with, I think, lot of happiness, because this is the fundamental duty for which we are being employed and paid. And this is the fundamental expectation that the institution has from us and our students have from us. So the first thing you need to do is learn to serve with happiness. The teacher should have a definite vision how they will be able to fulfill the present needs, present requirements and aspirations of the learners. If we are, shall I say, if we empathize with this, if we focus on the students' needs, I think most of us will become professional naturally itself. So as people have been talking about now for many years now, that we have to move from a teacher-centric teaching to a student-centric teaching. The essence of that is that you empathize with the needs of the students. So let us see what are these. Sir has already told this, and I have straight away borrowed it from the code of ethics that we have written in our quality manual. With respect to a student and a teacher, the first thing a teacher has to do as an ethical practice is that he or she should learn to respect the right and dignity of the student in expressing his or her opinion. We should, as a code of ethics, deal very justly and impartially with students, regardless of their religion, caste, political affiliation, social standing, physical characteristic, whatever. We should definitely, as an ethical practice, encourage and motivate students to improve their academic achievements, develop their personalities, as well as contribute to community service. It's very important as a practice to cultivate that we need to recognize the difference in aptitude, attitude, and capabilities among our students, and we should strive to meet their individual needs. I think this is an ethical practice we should have. We cannot have all sizes fit. I mean, one size fits all the time. Of course, as Sir already mentioned, it's extremely important as teachers that we should refrain from inciting students. That's a very important ethical practice that should have, ethical code, I should say. Refrain from inciting students against other students, against our own colleagues, support staff, or the administration. See, essentially, always remember that if you were in the student's position once, and therefore the greatest joy and pride for you is when your student overtakes you. If you can remember these two things, that once upon a time I was a student myself, and you will really empathize with his needs. Secondly, what is the biggest joy that you can get as a teacher? When a student goes more than what you ever thought you could do. Okay, so this is the ultimate in being a professional, I think. Then what about teachers and profession? See, probably the most important professional code are those directly related to our profession itself. Students look up to us as a source of knowledge, and more importantly, as their mentor. Can we then break this immense faith that they have on us? Definitely not. The very widespread cause of plagiarism, fake degree scams, etc., is a very serious cause for concern in our profession. It should be fought from within, and it calls for deep introspection amongst all of us. We should inculcate in ourselves that learning and knowledge has to be acquired by hard work for it to last, and it can never be copied. Learning is a lifelong commitment that we need to make to ourselves. If we are not honest in this, I must sadly say we should not be in this profession. I may sound harsh, but I think that is the reality. As far as teachers and colleagues, or as Dr. Bhatta said, teachers and friends, what is the ethical code that we should have? Well, first and foremost, we must adjust to the professional environment of the institution. Now, paradoxically, a professional environment can only be created by professional teachers and imbibing professionalism in our profession. And this includes having professional code of conduct. We must set an example in professionalism in our institution and be friendly with colleagues. The institution, remember, works as a system, and the teacher should understand that every member of the system is equally important and they have their own role to play. Isn't it so? Think about this. A minute's reflection on this will tell you how truthful this is. Also, one should learn to treat all our colleagues and other members of our profession with respect and develop a healthy professional relation with them. In fact, it doesn't mean you should not compete, but the competition itself should be professional. Competition for competition's sake should be avoided. Competition that will help both of us grow is always welcome. Another important ethical quality or ethics in terms of us in relation to our colleagues would be to always speak respectfully about our colleagues and render assistance for their professional betterment. We should have the attitude to adopt changes for the better in the larger interest of the students and institution, irrespective of the hierarchical position of the person from which such changes have been sought or have been forthcoming. Just because somebody is a new entrant to the college, one cannot, put such a person down. If what he or she is telling is really in the larger interest of the student, I think we should be professional enough to accept. The same goes the other way around also. It is not as if all people with white hair and white beards are always wrong. We too have come through the hard way. So therefore, it's a question of give and take. Both sides should look at the positives that are there in collaborating and cooperating. Of course, it's very important professional code of ethics to refrain from allowing considerations of caste, creed, religion, race, or sex coloring our judgment when we try to judge our professional endeavors of our colleagues, and when we sit on judgment in the progress of our colleague. We have to be very objective in assessing our colleagues. Now, of course, sir already mentioned this, and I was very happy that he put it on his slide, that as teachers, we must definitely refrain from lodging unsubstantiated allegations against our colleagues to higher authorities. After all, there are other politicians who do this much better than us. Now, coming to teachers and management or administration, I think fundamentally it is essential to cooperate with the management of an institution. Now, don't get me wrong. Let me elaborate. When I say cooperate, we have to cooperate in the formulation of the policies of the institution by accepting, as sir rightly said, by accepting various offices and discharging responsibilities which such officers may demand. After all, when the management or the principal asks you to do something, they have a certain trust in you and they hope that you will take it forward. I think we should rise up to it, and even if we don't know, we should be prepared to learn on the job. Secondly, I think we should cooperate with the authorities for the betterment of the institution, keeping in view the interest and in conformity with the dignity of the profession. What I mean is that we must, of course, be able to stand up and have the courage to say no if wrong practices are imposed on us. But at the same time, if the management or the administration is thinking of a larger interest, and it may in some sense be a little uncomfortable for us to follow, I think we should go along, because in the end, it is benefiting a much larger group of people than just you or me. So professionalism, in a sense, is all this. If one can bring all this into our, say, psyche itself, into our DNA, and we don't have to think about being professional, we have to be a professional. Okay. So basically, it also means, see, when you take up a job, if you're signing a contract, okay, you are signing a contract and the contract is binding on both sides. So being professional also means adhering to the terms of contract. If you are unhappy with the terms of contract, you should have said so at the beginning. So at the end of the day, I think bringing in professionalism, not just in other jobs, in teaching, and as a teacher, being professional in our profession is very important. And to inculcate these code of ethics, of course, not everything comes overnight. One has to work as a teacher, experience several ups and downs. But then there are people around us who can guide us. There are elders, there are people who have seen several years of service, who have seen the best of teaching, who have seen the best of the management, who have seen the worst of the times. So they will really tell us as to what it is to be a professionally, ethically good teacher. One could go on and on. I know all of us are hungry, and I really don't want to take much of your time. But one thing I would want to say very clearly is that these are not just prescriptions. They are time-tested practices. And believe me when I say they have yielded results. In conclusion, I might say that if a teacher bears good professional ethics towards his profession, then the effects are automatically transferred to the next generation. It will help in making the teaching profession corruption-free. Probably we always pride ourselves in telling we are teachers. Okay, so if you are teachers, what is so special about you, isn't it? So one has to be special by being a teacher. So I'm sure that having this professional ethical code will make our profession itself corruption free. And I also believe, and I have experienced this, that if all of us follow a professional code of ethics, then it has the power even to stop student agitation. Because at the end of the day, the student is not learning by what you're teaching him. He is learning by seeing you. And if he sees a professional attitude in you, if he sees ethical qualities in you, believe me, he will imbibe it. No matter how much you tell him to do, if you practice what you preach, then he learns. So saying that, I really have a small suggestion here that for all the teachers who are attending this webinar, every college must have a quality manual. Okay, and this quality manual, as Dr. Bhatta said, is something that not one person or two person writes. We'll have to sit together, maybe in the IQAC, form many teams, brainstorm, and put down in paper what are the quality percepts that you want and how would you intend to follow it. So have a quality manual. And in that quality manual, you also have a professional code of ethics embedded in. Let it be there for everybody to see. Put it in the public domain, put it in your website, and it must be laid down. That's very important, and made available in the public domain. And teachers, young teachers who come and join the profession, they must read it. Students must read it, because in the code of ethics that we put in our quality manual, we have a code of ethics for teachers, we have a code of ethics for students, and so on. So I think this is a good practice. And I urge all colleges to follow this practice. There is nothing to hide in this. We have put our own quality manual in our website, and all of you are free to have a look at it. Of course, it will not be static. It will keep changing. Our next quality manual will be due sometime before the next NAC. So these are dynamic changes. Okay. So once again, I should thank Sharda ma'am and her entire team for actually allowing me to share the platform with Dr. Ganesh Bhatta, sir. It's been an honor, sir. Of course, it's a sad day for me because I could not attend the condolence meeting of my teacher, but I'm happy that the organizer gave me a minute here. I really pray to her departed soul and wish all of you the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for an informative talk and urging us to imbibe the qualities and ethics a teacher should imbibe to make life happen better than the way it is right now and become the agents of change for a better country. May I now kindly request Srimati Anuradha to give the vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon to everyone. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them, quoted by John F. Kennedy. I deem it a great honor to render the vote of thanks this August.
Madam has muted herself.
Ma'am, can you please unmute?
And on my own behalf, thank you for being with us today, sir. Thank you, sir, for being with us and sharing your insightful talk. I would also like to express our deepest thanks to Professor K. M. Raghavendran, Department of Physics and IQAC Coordinator, MES Degree College, for having presided over today's event. Special thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. S. Sharda, who encourages us with her unstinted support in all our activities. Thanks is also due to our IQAC Coordinator and Vice Principal, Srimati Harini, who is a great pillar of support in all our activities. I would like to express my deep gratitude to all the erudite participants of today's webinar who have spared their time to join us in this insightful webinar. I take the opportunity to thank my colleagues without whom the program wouldn't have been a success. Thank is also due to Mr. Vamshi, our alumni, for his able guidance and support in conducting this event. Summing it up, as somebody once said, to the world you may be just a teacher, but your student, you are a hero. I'm sure we have garnered a whole lot of insight from today's webinar. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Anuradha. I once again thank all the participants for being with us on this occasion. And the link for the feedback form is given. And for those who don't understand Kannada, we give another feedback form in shortly, and the certificates shall be dispatched in a day. Thank you.